Hello, my fellow humans, and welcome back to another pick a card reading here at Scatter Love Tarot. I do want to say thank you to anyone and everyone that continues to be a supportive part of this journey. I'm truly honored to be sharing this time and this space with you. And for anybody that is new here, welcome. This is a reminder that we're all here sharing this human experience together, and that this is a safe space to show up as your highest, most aligned, loving, authentic self. Should these messages happen to resonate with you, it would mean so much to me if you were to like, comment, and subscribe below. And if you are interested in supporting the channel further, you'll find everything you need in the description box, including how to reach me for a personal reading, as well as how to join here as a member. So today I have another exciting reading. So if you didn't catch my shamanic message reading that I posted sometime last week, I definitely highly recommend that. It was a channeled message and I was so excited to do that reading, and this one is a channeled message and I've been waiting to do this one, and today Source said it is time. And I've already gotten so many synchronicities about this, but it is a message for the secret witches and warlocks, okay? And this, I was just really excited that this came through to me. Today I'm going to be using a guide for the Embodied Witch Oracle deck by Laura Tempest Zakroff. And she also has a book called The Anatomy of a Witch Body, and it is definitely worth checking out. It's not a very long read, but it is so powerful and there's so much information. And I actually got that book along with these cards together because they go hand in hand. There's a lot that's in the book that also deepens the meaning of these particular cards. Okay, so awesome. With that, and then this is just an up close if you're wondering. Okay, it's got an awesome book. It's all in color and these cards are beautiful. She's an incredible artist. So with that, let's get to our prayer and we will get this reading underway. One thing to keep in mind with this reading is I don't have a particular topic, so I'm going to let Source decide how each pile comes through. But this was the channeled message, is a special message for the secret witches and warlocks. Okay, so all right, let me get this burning here. Nope, still got a coating on it. Oh, this smells so good. It's lavender and lilac. It smells so good. Yes, there we go. We got you. Okay. My beloved Source, this prayer is for any and all who come onto this reading, whether it's for a moment's time or for the entire time. You know, we are asking this to be a message for the secret witches and warlocks because it's difficult for those of us who practice these things to be seen out in the real world. There's been persecution and there's been judgments, and there's just been a lot of anger and ridicule towards those of us who choose to believe how we choose to believe. And so today I ask that you bring comfort to those of us that need it most, to remind us that we're not wrong, and to remind us that there's different paths for everyone, and because this is the path that chose us or that we chose doesn't make it wrong. And that it's always about listening to our intuition, and it's always about listening to what's in our hearts and where our hearts are guiding us, that if it feels right for us, and that's okay. The main thing is that we don't judge ourselves. And the main thing is that we don't ridicule ourselves for being different or for being outwardly a practitioner of this religious belief or these practices or these spells or whatever it is that we choose to call it. Is it still comes back down to the faith that we choose to embody. And it still comes back down to trusting in the magic that your hand plays a part in. And it still comes down to the patience of allowing ourselves to unfold and uncover our own inner truth. And today I ask that you highlight the path before us all and remind us that no matter what we choose to call ourselves, ultimately We are finding the road back to our highest, most aligned, loving, authentic selves, to be an expression of that in this 3D realm. As these words are spoken unto this reading and upon the tribe here today, so shall they be. Amen. Aho. Ase. Thank you, thank you, thank you, my beloved source. Thank you so much. So let's go ahead and get that set up over here. Okay. That smells so good. I wish there was like a smellophone or something like that and I could share that with you, but there's not, alas. So let's go ahead and get into it. I did shuffle these beforehand. So source, for pile number 1, what embodied witch oracle card will help us better understand the message for the secret witches and warlocks of pile number 1? Message for the secret witches and warlocks for pile number 1, source. What embodied witch oracle card will help us better understand that message? Okay, thank you. All right, source. And for pile number 2, what embodied witch oracle card will help us better understand the message for the secret witches and warlocks of pile number 2? Thank you. And for pile number 3, source, what embodied witch oracle card will help us better understand the message for the secret witches and warlocks of pile number 3? What will help us better understand the message? Okay, it's this one right here. Thank you. All right, on the bottom, ooh, we've got shapeshift. Look at this. Also, I'm getting, it's interesting because I feel like this is also pointing towards letting our familiars and letting our, you know, animal guides give us the messages that we needed, trusting that those messages are helping, guiding us to the next level. Also, Capricorn energy is coming through really strongly for some reason with this card, but it's just reminding us that we're getting messages from everything, right? There's always guidance. I'm going to read this out of the book, but that was what came through right away when I turned this over. And also, shape-shifting feels like, you know, don't be afraid to always change yourself, right? Like, there's nothing wrong with that. Okay, so you see that we've got folklore is full of witches and other magical practitioners who are said to be able to shapeshift into animals, especially for flying to sabbats or making mischief. Whether these transformations are actually physical or more of a spiritual nature, there's no denying our animal selves. Recognizing that we are interconnected with the world brings us closer to nature and to the wild, mysterious and uncharted parts of ourselves. Our spirits can contain a diverse array of traits and features that may come out depending on where we are and who we are with. We may walk in multiple worlds, and not all of them are of a magical nature. Shapeshifting speaks to our ability to contain multitudes, to code switch, and to not be reduced to labels or stereotypes. Speech, movement, and dress all factor into shapeshifting. Playing with disguise can not only protect us, but help us see the world in new ways. So this is all about transformation, versatility, metamorphosis, and chimera. It says, ask yourself, who am I really? And how does the world see me versus how I see myself? You truly contain multitudes, and there's no shame in being hard to pin down. For as many eyes that see you, there are even more versions of you perceived by others. Find the shape that makes you feel at home, even if it's something you explore only on special occasions or with certain people. And I think that's the end. Yeah, okay. Yeah, so don't be afraid to be yourself. Isn't that so fitting? And that goes along with what I was saying in the prayer, too. Just like sometimes we feel like we have to hide ourselves because of judgment or because the world has been very cruel to people who don't believe certain faiths, right? Or who don't. You know, the thing is that I've learned along the way, I've met witches and warlocks who are Christian, who are Muslim, who are, you know, who are Mormons. You know, it's like there's no There's no need for judgment of being a witch or a warlock. If it's what you choose to practice, it's what you choose to practice, and that's your life. But it's hard because a lot of people are so judgmental of that. Or if you don't even claim that title, right? Like the card says, like you're not claiming that label, but people automatically label you as that because you don't fit in with what their version of you should be. Like letting that go and letting yourself just be who you are allows you to free yourself from the burden of carrying that weight on your shoulders and letting them figure it out for themselves. Like if that's how they're going to see you, that's not the truth of who you are. And that's why it's so important for you to embody your own truth and be comfortable in your own skin. Okay? I feel like my camera's a tad bit crooked here. Okay, there we go. So for pile number 1, we have this dice here. Fiddle. Don't know why it's not. There we go. Okay, and we also have this beautiful piece of garnet for you to choose from. Okay, and for pile number 2, we have this dice. I also have this beautiful yellow jasper for you to choose from. Okay, and for pile number 3, we have this dice. We have this beautiful piece of crystal quartz for you to choose from. Okay, pile 1, pile 2, and pile 3. Whichever pile you feel drawn to, that should be the pile for you. And with that being said, I will see you over there. Hello, my fellow human. If you were drawn to this dice, or if you were drawn to this piece of garnet, or if you were drawn to this card during the shuffle, this is going to be your message on a message for the secret witches and warlocks. I'm going to put that there. I do want to say thank you to anyone and everyone that continues to be a supportive part of this journey with me. I'm truly honored to be sharing this time and this space with you. And for anybody that's new here, welcome. This is that reminder that we're all here sharing this human experience together, and that this is a safe space to show up as your highest, most aligned, loving, authentic self. And should these messages happen to resonate with you, it would mean so much to me if you were to like, comment, and subscribe below. With that being said, we're going to go ahead and hop to it and find out what is the message for the secret witches and warlocks of pile number 1, source. What would you like to share with them today? What is the message for the secret witches and warlocks of pile number 1? What would you like to come through today, source? What is the message for the secret witches and warlocks today, source? Okay, so we've got the 9th house, Virgo. I'm sorry, that is Capricorn energy, and Neptune. Interesting. So, okay, I'm actually really glad that this came out because I did get a channel message for you before I started, and I totally spaced it out as I started the intro, and that's okay. Because the thing that I heard, it was like I saw this dark shadow go across my vision, and nothing scary. It was just, I see better in the dark. So it's almost like you, pile 1, are capable of, so I heard ascertaining who is a high vibrational being or a low vibrational being based on their shadow self. Like you're capable of seeing shadow auras, or, you know, even light auras, but I feel like you're able to read people's shadow. And that's the message that's really being brought forth, especially with this. Is something that maybe you've disciplined yourself to do, or you've worked really hard at, or it's something that you noticed early on as a child, this is a natural ability that you have. And then all of a sudden, you took a lot of time and effort to really hone this skill. And it has been a part of your discernment for a long time now. And so you're easily able to read people and to see them for who they are. And it gives you a clue as to whether or not you should invite someone in. And you don't ever have to argue with people, or you don't ever have to hurt people either, because it's just like, oh, that's just not a person for me. And so, you show up as your bubbly, beautiful self, or your very calm and collected self. There's a lot of different energies here, and you just go ahead and go your separate way. Like, you're not worried about them, and you're not worried about their shadow, because you're very aware of whether or not, is this mine to hold on to, or is this theirs to hold on to? And so you know how to draw those very solid boundaries. And it's something that a lot of people are like, wow, you're really good at reading people, or you're really good at resolving situations, or you're really good at de-escalating drama. But the reason being is because you've had this time to practice or learn or hone this skill for a long time, and it's something that you've poured a lot of energy and effort into, and that probably comes from a pretty riddled past, and something that you've experienced a lot of hurt, a lot of pain, and a lot of upset before, and where you weren't able to see people prior, and it's like, or the goodness in you always won out, and so the people pleaser part of you was always taking over things. And it's so funny, I feel like you also attract a lot of smoke into your life. The incense is burning and all the smoke is coming over here. I don't know if you can see it in the camera, but usually when I burn an incense, it goes up and it goes out that way. Whether I have a window open or not, it just usually goes straight up. And right now for you, it's like coming over here. So I feel like when you burn incense, or you burn anything, or smoke or anything, or like people smoking around you, like, smoke has a tendency to find you. And so that's also a strange indication that you're a very beautiful soul. So something I've learned along the way, but that's really what the dice are pointing to right here. It's like you're in the process of learning something, or really honing those skills and working hard towards it. And it's something that not a lot of people have access to. It's a very psychic gift. It's a very psychic ability. But for you, it's so natural. It might not seem supernatural, right? Like, it's just a part of who you are. And so it just doesn't feel very supernatural at all. And that's what I'm feeling is coming through. We're going to find out more and see what source wants to come through with the tarot, okay? So let's see. You've done a good job. That's what I keep hearing. Like, you've done a good job at this. Like, maybe sometimes you're wondering, like, am I doing the right thing? Is it okay that I don't invite everyone over? Look at all this smoke coming in right here. And Source is saying, like, absolutely. Like, there's no need for you just to invite people in for the sake of inviting people in. And so if you're ever doubting that, or if you're ever worrying about that, like, this is that confirmation where it's, you don't need to doubt or worry about that anymore. Like, your intuition is on point, and this gift that you have, because I feel like this is actually a gift that you've been given. This is not something I've seen before. So it is actually pretty unique, right? But it's still a gift. Yeah, it's interesting. The Three of Cups fell out in the reverse. I'm going to go ahead and take it because it fell out while I was shuffling. But it's this energy of what I was saying earlier. You have had a pretty riddled past, and you've had to take care of people who are emotionally unavailable, and people who didn't love you the way that you loved others. And so you've had to really give back to yourself, and the more that you give back to yourself, the more you're able to see people's true intentions. But it's like, you know their true intentions before they even know their true intentions. So it kind of trips people out, because it's like you're recognizing that, oh, that person's toxic for me, or that person's a narcissist, or that person's a sociopath. Yeah, that person's just gonna be a smooth talker. They just want access to my energy. And so, and you never, like, you might set those boundaries and say, like, oh, this just doesn't work for me, or, you know, I just don't have enough time to put forth towards a connection right now. Or, like, I feel like you're always very super like, it's not necessarily polite, but it is polite, right? Like, your boundaries are still polite. Like, you're still kind in your boundary setting. It's like, I'm kind until I need to be otherwise. Like, you give everybody the benefit of the doubt first, right? It's like, I'm going to be kind in setting this boundary, but also don't mess with me if you step over my boundary. That's the type of energy that I feel here. Yeah, on the 2 of coins on the bottom in the reverse. Yeah, you've had a lot of ups and downs, and you've gotten so good at navigating those ups and downs in life. Like, there is nothing that you can't take care of, or there's nothing that you can't face. And you are able to just build resilience and understanding of yourself as you go through these problematic situations. Yeah, you've been surrounded by a lot of negativity in your life. So it's interesting because I feel like Source is showing you here, like, yes, this is a gift that you've been given, but it's actually because of the circumstances that you went through in your life. You had to take care of people. You're surrounded by so much negativity. You were surrounded by people who were very good with their words, in the way of, like, they would make you feel certain things, in the way they would talk to you. Like, they would gaslight you, or they would love bomb you, or they would make you feel very good about yourself, all for the sake of manipulating you later. It's like all of those circumstances actually presented an opportunity for this gift to be born within you. So it's like, if you're ever wondering, why did I go through all of these terrible situations? You know, maybe instead of looking at why you went through it, just saying, like, wow, all these things that I went through gave me this really incredibly unique gift. And it's something to be grateful for, is the gift, right? Like, that's a really great gift to be grateful for. And so some of you were naturally born with it, but in a past life, that's why it came up. It was just like survival created an opportunity for this gift to manifest for you, because it was like a way of your soul saying, we need to protect ourselves at all costs. And right now, I feel like you're dealing with, it's interesting because I feel like this is something that's coming out a lot in your spell work too. Like, if you're doing spell work, or you're having problems manifesting, and there's a sense of resentment and hurt. And I'm also, it's interesting right now, I'm getting this very weird sensation in my thoracic spine at the back of my heart chakra. And so it's like you felt like you've been stabbed in the back so many times. And it's like, maybe you're trying to manifest connections, or maybe you're trying to manifest the love of your life, or maybe you're trying to manifest, you know, opportunities that work well for you. And so with this sensation in the back of my heart chakra, it's this coming back to this and letting go of the hurt and the pain that was there through these situations, right? It's not that those people, what they did was right, and you never deserved to go through that, pile one, but also it's almost like the knives are still resting in your back, like the knives of hurt, the knives of suffering, the knives of sorrow, like they're still stuck in your back. And even if you've done cord cutting ceremonies, and even if you've done the spell work to remove those energies, this is something that's coming from deep within. And the healing comes from really sitting with the fact that this is how I felt when these people did XYZ, right? And sitting with those emotions once again will allow you to actually pinpoint where it's at in your body, and that will help move your spell work along as well. There's a blockage in chi is what I'm hearing right now, and the blockage just has to do with the anger and the pain that came from these circumstances, the anger and the pain that came from the way people treated you. No, you never deserve to be treated like that. Unfortunately, because we live in this very dualistic world, there's good and there's bad, if you want to label it as such, right? There's light and there's dark, and it's like light will always attract the dark, and that's just how it is, because the dark is trying to be all encompassing, but the light is what blasts away the dark. And so with this, it's saying, like, yes, this was a very harrowing situation. Yes, this was a very difficult situation that you went through, but It is not who you are. It's something you experienced. And from that experience, you were able to almost unknowingly manifest this very powerful gift and continue to hone it through those circumstances. Okay? And so what Source is saying here for you, pile one, is that, you know, instead of saying like, oh, well, you know, forgiveness is not about the other person. And I feel like that's something that's so powerful to remind us always. It says forgiveness is not about the other person. Forgiveness is about ourselves. It's about releasing the chains of the past from those circumstances. I really want to get some clarifiers here for you. Can we please clarify the Three of Cups in the reverse? Yeah, okay, so we have the Nameless card, the 13 card, or what you might know as Death, coming out in the reverse. Yeah, this is something that has left you completely catatonic, right? And it's interesting because in the big deck, he actually has these red spots on his back, on his elbows, and on his neck. And so they're showing me that again. So it's like there's certain areas on your body that are blocked. The chi is blocked. And so the magic cannot flow fluidly through your body because of these blockages. So, and this card also talks about having generational curses. This is something that came from parental neglect, or this is something that came from caregiver neglect, which we also see with the Three of Cups here. This is something that the people who are supposed to love you and nurture you and protect you didn't do what they were supposed to do, right? They did the best that they could with what they had, but they weren't giving you what you needed the most when you were young. And this could have happened between the ages of 3 and 13. It could have been a 10-year period where it was like completely chaos, and it was like, what do I do? And you ended up, you know, again, this gift of discernment is what we'll call it, but it's so much more than that. It was like you began understanding people's intentions, and I feel like even at a young age, you were able to save yourself from some pretty bad situations, but there were also the ones that you couldn't save yourself from, because being a dependent at that time meant relying on those people, and if they weren't caring for you the way that you needed to, unfortunately, that became the environment that you grew up in. And so with the Death card, as you will, coming out in the reverse here to clarify the Three of Cups in the reverse, this is just that confirmation that this is something that weighs heavily on your spirit. And because of that, creates that energetic disharmony. And so the more that you cleanse that part of your life, and the more that you go back and forgive the past situation for what it was, right? We can't change it. We can't go on. Trust me, if they built a time machine, I feel like everybody would go back and change their past, but there's no such thing as a time machine yet. And we can't go back and change it, right? And would you really want to? Because if you changed it and you found loving parents, I mean, would you really gathered this gift that you have now, or would it be as strong as it is now? You know, there's no telling, but there's a feeling that it might not be. And that gift is something that's very useful to you on your journey even now. And so this is about giving you the opportunity to let go of something that was unstable so that you can begin to build stability within yourself and feel comfortable by being the parent that you need to yourself. Can we please clarify the Five of Swords in the reverse, Source? Okay, thank you. Yeah, we have the Six of Wands, and interestingly enough, this image in the Tarot Marseille, when it's in this position, is actually in the upright, but in this deck, it's in the reverse. And so these are individuals, it's like the negativity that was surrounding you. Look, if you look at this, we have 3 and 4, 5 and 6. So that's interesting. Like, this is a very interesting stair step, if you will. So it's all a process, but I feel like with the Six of Wands coming out here, it's just indicating that these are individuals who are very selfish and greedy, and they wanted everything for themselves, and they didn't care about whose toes they stepped on to get there, including people that were completely innocent in the picture. So this is Source saying, like, what happened to you in the past was not actually a personal thing. Like, it wasn't personally against you. It wasn't like because you existed, you were treated this way. It's literally because you were in this person's energy. This is how they were treating everybody that was in their energy. So, and you know, sometimes that sucks too, because it's like, well, geez, you know, like, so if I just didn't have them in my life, I would have been okay. But it's like they treated you like this, they treated other family members like this, they treated coworkers like this, they treated everybody, friends, whoever was in their life, they treated like this. And they may have put on a smiling face, and you may have seen behind the doors and the shutters when everyone else was fooled by them. And I feel like the more that they realized that they couldn't fool you, Pile One, the more that they projected onto you, because they were so used to getting away with everything that they wanted. A few beautifully placed words, and people were ready to just believe them and eat out of the palm of their hand. But it never played that way out for you. Okay, so we've got the Six of Coins coming out to clarify the King of Swords in the reverse. And this is just Source saying, like, we're helping you to move on to a more abundant time, and a time and a place where people are going to receive you as you are, for who you are, and to appreciate also this gift that you have. They're going to be so enamored by your gift and who you are and the way you think and the way that you present yourself, that like this past part of your life, it's not going to be even a thought or a care in your mind anymore, because you're going to have let it go completely. And the best way to do that is to honor and validate those emotions that you had at that time. You know, it might be hard to reenact those feelings as a child, right? But I feel like if you sit with it long enough, they will rise to the surface, and you'll be able to just face them and say, you know what, how you feel about the way so-and-so showed up is completely valid. And give your younger self, your inner child, a hug. Remind them that you're safe now. And remind them that everything is working out the way that it should. And that you're so much stronger than that. And that you survived. And we're moving on to better things. And your inner child is going to feel a sense of freedom. And that's going to relieve you from the stress that this situation has put on you. And it's going to bring you up into this more abundant time. This is all about finding solutions, resolutions, but more importantly, number 6 to me is all about seeing yourself through the eyes of the divine with unconditional love, right? And accepting yourself wholly. There's nothing wrong with you. There's never been anything wrong with you. Even if you're struggling right now to have success with your spell work, there's nothing wrong with you. Okay? And I feel like sometimes you're like, oh my gosh, like it's me, I'm the problem. You know, what is that song? It's me, I'm the problem, it's me. No, it's not you. It's because of this weight that you've been carrying for so long. Okay, and it's hard to recognize it because it's been underneath all of those layers and protection and all of that other stuff. And you've done a lot of work. You've done a lot of inner work. You've let go of a lot of things. This is just what's holding you back from manifesting. You feel like your soul tribe. Feel like this is holding you back from manifesting your true love. And this is what is keeping maybe those love spells just on hold. It feels like you're doing love spells, or you're doing there's some kind of like spell for other people, like to bring in the people who are meant to be with you. That's really what it feels like. And it just feels like because of that, everything's on hold here. But it's not. It's not. We're trying to bring you back to this place of having space so that those spells can come true and manifest in the physical. Yeah, on the bottom, this is self-sabotage. Anytime the King of Wands shows up in the reverse, we're really talking about self-sabotage, getting in the way. We're getting in our own way. And, you know, it's interesting that I was feeling that I'm the problem, it's me, right? And that's what it's feeling like. But this is just a thought process that's happening because of what's happened before. Yeah, you're not seeing just how grounded you are and how much you've healed. And I feel like sometimes you don't celebrate yourself and how far you've come and how much you've grown as an individual. because of this past hurt, because of this past baggage. Okay, what's peeking out here? Look at that. The Wheel of Fortune is peeking out here. You have an opportunity to change fortune in your favor. You have an opportunity to bring in this luck. And isn't it so funny? Like, I chose to do Jupiter on the dice for you to pick. One second, I need a drink. I chose to do Jupiter on the dice, and the Wheel of Fortune is connected to Jupiter, both Sagittarius and Pisces energy. All right, let's get some oracles out real quick. What else would you like to tell the secret witches and warlocks? Yeah, look at this. South Node flying in. We've got destined to release. This is all a part of the South Node for you. Okay, this is something you're meant to let go of. But it's holding on, and it's going to hold on tooth and nail, and it's going to try and hide itself from you because it's a part of your emotional ego, right? And your emotional ego identifies with this because for a long time, maybe you identified with that, and that's okay, right? There's nothing wrong with that. It's not about blaming ourselves. I feel like you've done enough of that. It's just about becoming aware of where you're at right now and honoring that, honoring the process that it takes for you to let go of things. Wow, look, we've got Chiron. I am not surprised that Chiron made an appearance here with Hurt and Heal. This is the wounded healer energy. This is like what is going to help you to heal others if that's the process or the road that you've chosen to take. And even if it's not, by you releasing this for good, it's going to give you this aura about you where you're going to naturally heal others just because you've let go of so much deep hurt and deep sorrow. This is like a resentment that was built on a lifetime based on a early childhood wound, and it's been holding you. And for South Node and Chiron to come out together, that's really powerful energy here. Okay, so I want to get one of these. All right, Source, what else would you like to tell the secret witches and warlocks of pile number 1? Okay, they want one more of these. What else would you like to say? Okay, thank you. On the bottom, we've got the frog spirit with clear out the clutter. Yeah, clearing out the mind. This is feeling like the mind, that's the mental space. And maybe sometimes you have a bad day and you're really rough on yourself, and maybe you're not aware of it when it's happening, right? There might be a moment where you're just not actually recognizing how mean you are to yourself. We have Magenta Dragon coming out here. Enables you to bring forward your soul wisdom. Awaken your soul memories and higher spiritual understanding. Prepare for accelerated ascension. That's what I was saying. And this is going to help you burn away all those blockages in your chi or in your energetic system. And through that, right, your spells are going to come, they're going to start to manifest a lot faster. You're going to see things happen in a very quick manner. But it's like waking up to a higher version of yourself, and one that's been shadowed by all of this regret and resentment and hurt and pain and shame. On the bottom, we have the white gold dragon from Lyra, connects you with the highest Christ light. Develop your causal chakra and bathe in the 9th dimensional Christ light. So definitely moving higher dimensions. And the causal chakra is right at the, like the occiput. It's like right at the base of your skull where it meets your neck, and that's the occiput. But it actually lives about 6 inches outside of our body. And our goal in ascension is to bring that causal chakra within our body, right? That's part of our ascension process, so that it's no longer disconnected from our body, but within our housing. And as we bring that within our housing, we actually begin to open up the serpentine or the kundalini, if you will. And it's all a process. This is not something that happens overnight, but for you to have this energy come through, it's saying like, this is what we're working on right now. And part of that is really letting go of those pains and those hurts. Like, I remember on my journey when my causal chakra decided one day it was going to be a part of my body, I was actually forgiving a lot of past people. I really lived in this energy of, I forgive, and I would say the name of the person, okay? And I know what this sounds like, but hang with me, okay? So, like, say I forgive Bob Smith for what he has done to me, for he knows not how he hurt me. But then I would say, I also forgive myself, and I would recite my whole name, because I too did not know how I hurt me. And I would say this over and over again, and I started letting go of the past people in my life, and I started letting go of the past circumstances. And every time I had a memory that came up that was a pain, I did this, and I was driving around, and the causal chakra, I felt it enter my body, and I got this tingly sensation in my crown chakra all of a sudden, and it also went all the way down to my toes, but I could feel it. There was like this very hot part right at my occiput, and I actually didn't even know what that was. And so I started researching it, and I actually have another deck that's the shamanic deck that I have, and so I was asking Source, what is this? And they told me to grab the shamanic deck, and that chakra is in that deck too, and it popped out like almost immediately, just flew out of the deck, and I was like, oh my gosh, what is that? And so I started learning about it, and it was all the same things. Like, people were talking about the symptoms, but in the book it talked about how the causal chakra lives without us and outside of us, and we want to bring that in our awakening process. So we're talking about a next level awakening for you, but this is one of the blockages that you have to go through, and that's okay, right? It's hard to forgive people. Oh, like, I mean, I might talk about it now like it was the easiest thing in the world, but it's not. That was really, really difficult. There were times when I was screaming and I was angry and I was crying and I was just like, I don't want to forgive people for the things that they did to me, but I also knew that I couldn't hold on to it anymore because I held on to it for too long. Okay, yeah. So ring, wedding, token, bond. Yeah, so it feels like this is love spell work. It might not be. Remember, that's just the energy that's coming through here. Okay, so we've got fusion. Look, align, openness, harmonize, and collaboration. We've got surprise flying out unexpectedly, another way and beyond imagination with ring, wedding, token, and bond. So there is definitely a higher connection here that's trying to make its way into your energy. And then process came out too. Journey, growth, path, experiences, right? This is all part of the process. Okay. Let's see what we've got here. So not only did you get Chiron, South Node, but you also got Saturn. Feel restricted, experience struggle, learn hard work and patience. This was all a part of your journey. Does that make it easier? No, but the truth is that Saturn teaches us hard lessons through hard love. And I mean, is it right or wrong? It just simply is, right? It is as it should be, because without Saturn, we would miss some vital lessons along our journey. And so for you, Pylon, they're showing here that this has been a very difficult situation for you to make it through, but you're doing it. And that's something you should celebrate. Spendthrift, waste, debt, gambling. Right? Okay, so it's interesting that they wanted me to flip this card over next, because this is almost like this feeling like, oh, it's just a waste. Like, why did I have to go through that? Like, it doesn't even make any sense. Like, I could have just lived a life without that. Like, Source didn't have to bring that to my life. Like, but remembering that what happens to us is not Source's doing. We live here with other humans who have free will, and they can do whatever they choose to do. And we all bump into each other, and our cosmos will forever be changed by all the people that we bump into along our journey. And that's what Source is trying to say. It's like, of course, maybe Source could wave their hand and change all of life for us, but all of these things are, we've determined certain lessons before we came here as souls. And with that, we might not have known how those lessons would play out, but they played out exactly as they were meant to. And that's really hard, because it feels like what you've been through, Pylon, it's not been easy. And I can absolutely attest to that energy. It's been very difficult to get through this reading, talking about these difficult situations that you've had to experience. And, You know, it's not that it's not valid how you feel, it is, but if you don't validate that, it doesn't matter if I validate that. It doesn't matter if source validates that. It doesn't matter if someone down the street validates that, or every person you meet in your life validates that. If you don't validate that, no matter how many people come into your life to validate that, it will never be enough, because there will always be a sense of resentment that underlies that. The minute you validate that, the minute you allow that string that's tangled, that's full of resentment, hate, hurt, and pain to begin to unravel, and that's when things begin to start flowing again. Be at home, wombat spirit, being comfortable with where you are on your journey. Very uncomfortable place of change here, but worth this process. And then look, wow, we've got the owl spirit with number 7, 43, 7. You see clearly, right? Trusting your intuition, trusting that it's leading you exactly where you need to go. All right, so let's take a look at your embodied witch card. I'm going to read this from the book and see what we've got. Look, birth. Oh my gosh, I love this energy for you. You are going through a very serious death and rebirth of the soul right now. Things are shifting for you. And think about birth, right? Like if you've had a child, or if you haven't, that's okay. Just think about like being born. It's not easy, right? Like, why do we cry? It's painful. It's not just painful for the mother, but it's painful for the child as well. But it's necessary, right? It's a necessary part of this process. So we're going to check this out from the book. All right. Birth. Birth. There are many ways to be born, and we may experience multiple births throughout our lives, not just our emergence from the womb. Rites of initiation and dedication, coming of age ceremonies, joinings, separations, or all kinds of births. Whether an emergence is physical or an ideological in nature, the time spent in gestation often aids us in developing ourselves more completely. We might come out of our shell, or perhaps the proverbial closet, when we're ready. Maybe that shell is broken for us unexpectedly, and we must go forth anyway. Regardless, keep in mind that we are working to becoming our most authentic selves throughout the whole of our lives. This is all about emerging, entering, incarnating, initiation, and arriving. Things are in process right now, so preparation is key. Consider how you can acknowledge the impending change or help deliver it into being. You could create ritual that focuses on building stamina and strength for endurance, or design a rite of celebration to honor the change. And I feel like the thing is, the source has been talking about celebration quite a bit throughout your reading. I feel like that might really be one of the ways that you could really bring that in, but it's always whatever you feel your intuition is guiding you towards. So I just feel like honoring yourself is so vital. And however you choose to honor yourself is going to be the right way for you. And that's been the real message here that's coming through for you, okay? So this is what I see here for you, pile number 1. If you felt like this was your reading, leave a little egg emoji down below and say, I choose to honor myself in the process of letting go and releasing the past, knowing that I'm clearing my energy to let all spells and manifestations come through to me now. And if it resonated with you, it would mean so much to me if you were to like, comment, and subscribe below. If you are interested in supporting the channel further, check out that description box. It has everything you need, including how to reach me for a personal reading, as well as how to join as a member on the channel. With that, I do want to take a quick second to thank your guides, your spirit messengers, your angel source, and my spirit guides for coming together to give us this very powerful message. And until next time, pile number 1, stay human. Bye. Hello, my fellow human. If you were drawn to this dice, or this beautiful yellow jasper, or this card during the shuffle, then this is going to be your message for the secret witch and warlock that you are. I do first want to say thank you to anyone and everyone that continues to be a supportive part of this journey. Truly honored to be sharing this time and space with you. And for anybody that is new here, welcome. This is that reminder that we're all here sharing this human experience together, and that this is a safe space to show up as your highest, most aligned, loving, authentic self. And should these messages happen to resonate, it would mean so much to me if you were to like, comment, and subscribe below. With that being said, let's go ahead and hop to it and find out what is this message for the secret witches and warlocks of pile number 2 source. What would you like them to know? What is the secret, or what is the message for the secret witches and warlocks of pile number 2? I was also getting that there's some sort of transformation in regards to a way of thinking that's coming through. And a way of you setting your boundaries. Like maybe you've been struggling with setting boundaries lately, but there's something that's switching and there's something that's changing in your life where you're going to be able to set emotional boundaries very, very well coming through. Okay. So we've got the 12th house, Scorpio energy, and Venus. Awesome. Okay. So something that has been very unclear is being made clear, and I do feel it is through you doing subconscious healing, like working with the subconscious, right? Like what's going on beneath the surface. That's the shadow work, and doing things that are scary and dealing with the dark side of ourselves. And there's this energy that's coming through that it's been a very difficult ride for you. There's a lot of loss, a lot of grief, feeling stuck, dealing with fear. Maybe there's been a lot of secrets in your life, or a lot of people who've kept secrets in your life, and that's made you feel like you've always been an outsider. And I feel like there's this shift that's happening here where it's like no longer are you going to be paying attention to that. Like it doesn't matter if people are keeping secrets from you, let them keep secrets. If people are trying to talk behind your back, let them talk behind your back. Like wherever you're at on the journey, you're just letting it be now, right? And you're not going to worry about that because you found something that you're very passionate about, driven, and working towards, very determined to see come to fruition. And right now you're changing and you're stepping up into a very powerful time in your journey and in your life. And you're becoming incredibly magnetic. So all those spells that you've been casting and all those manifestations that you've been writing down, they're going to quickly start coming to you because of this shift, and because you're letting go of how things were, and you're letting go of holding on to, because this feels like you've been at some point like holding on to, like, what are people saying about me, and why are they saying that, like, why are people doing the things that they're doing? And instead of focusing on everyone else, like, something switched and you brought back that focus to yourself, and you're like, no, I want to focus on what I'm doing because I'm the only one that matters here, because no one else is going to get me to where I need to go. And if that hasn't been something that has happened yet, it is going to be something that happens very soon for you, I feel. You're not going to feel guilty about being you anymore. You're not going to feel like you need to shame yourself for being you anymore. You're not going to feel these overwhelming emotions that were holding you back. You know, feeling like you're not good enough just for being who you are, right? You're really going to let that go. And that's going to open up the doorway for you to start bringing in the things that you want to see come in. I do also feel like maybe you belong to a coven. You don't have to, but definitely getting coven energy here. And I feel like you've been getting a lot of support from other witches and warlocks, and that's been helping you. Or maybe it's an online thing, like, that you've been getting help from. And I feel like that's been a good thing for you. Like, people who are on the same journey as you or do similar things like you, and that's making you feel not so outcasted, right? Like, there's this energy of feeling like I'm an outcast, like people just don't understand me, or like maybe you've always been into spells and doing the witchy thing, and you know, it's like people have always judged you harshly, and that's always come with a lot of shame. And they're saying, like, when you let go of that shame, that's when everything's going to start flowing for you. And I do feel like you're also bringing in a lot of stability and a lot of abundance in general, like internal abundance, which is going to manifest an external abundance for you, pile 2. So let's see here. You could be a Scorpio, Taurus, Libra, or Pisces energy. Heavy Scorpio energy. I feel like maybe you have Jupiter in Scorpio, North Node in Taurus, and maybe you have the 12th house in Scorpio or Pisces or Cancer. You could have a water trine in your chart. You could have that sun, moon, rising, or Venus, one of the water signs. But it's interesting because there's a lot of watery energy here that's coming through for you. Okay, so let's get some cards on it and find out what comes through for you. Pile number 2. What is a message for the secret witches and warlocks of pile number 2, source? Yeah, you're incredibly connected to source energy. Like, you get a lot of messages and downloads. And I feel like sometimes you doubt yourself, or sometimes you question whether or not these are intuitive notions, or if it's just, you know, like worrying, or if it's just, you know, fear that's coming in, playing a part. And source is saying, like, no, you're incredibly connected. It's okay for you to trust those things. So that might be also what's transforming for you and how you set boundaries. It's like you're getting intuitive guidance, and then you're able to say, like, okay, I can't give this person what they're asking for. I also feel like you might be seeing light beings out of the corners of your eyes. What is the message for the secret witches and warlocks? Yeah, okay, so we've got the 6 of Wands in the reverse, okay? What is the message for the secret witches and warlocks? Pile number 2. Okay, thank you, source. What is the message for the secret witches and warlocks? Pile number 2. What would you like to say? Yeah, a 5 of swords. Okay. And on the bottom, yes, I love this. We've got the 9 of cups on the bottom of the deck. Seeing beyond the illusion. Like, recognizing that it's okay for you to feel safe exactly as you are. You don't need to change to fit into someone else's version of what they think you should be, just because they're uncomfortable with who you are. Right? And that's something, like, I don't know if you caught the prayer or not, but if you didn't, definitely check out the prayer, because I was talking about that in the prayer and it came through so strongly. And then the collective reading that I did in the intro as well. It's like this energy of not feeling safe in your skin and not feeling safe to be who you are, like almost being ashamed because you're choosing this path, or because this path chose you. And yeah, why did I know that was coming up underneath there? I was like, it's almost like the Hangman in reverse, and there it is. I should have said it before I pulled up the card, but look at this, all Pisces energy. Pisces, Pisces, Pisces. So you could very well be a Pisces or have it highly aspect in your chart. But coming back to that 12th house energy as well, which is connected to Pisces, right? And so it's like a lot of our spiritual awakenings, our spiritual energy, our psychic abilities, dealing with karmic energy as well, letting go of addictions, letting go of fears, you know, all these things that have kept us back, the guilt, the shame, codependency, these things that have kept us back. But we see here that, like, you're coming into a time where you're actually going to be leading others, right? You see the 10 of cups here. This cup on top is so full that it's spilling over and filling up all these other cups. And this is seeing beyond the illusion. But at one point, there's this energy that was keeping you from doing this. And the illusion has always been, with it being in between these two cards, feeling completely uncomfortable as you are. Like, almost like you have to explain yourself. It's almost like even if you believe in a religion, like, still feeling like you have to defend yourself for whatever reason. And you don't. Like, you don't have to defend what you choose to practice or who you choose to be in this life. You know, there's something different for everyone. And if you can't be who you are because it's something that's different for you, like, it defeats the purpose. And just because everyone else, or there's other people in your energy that aren't comfortable with that, that's their problem. That's not your problem, right? Yeah, they're misled, right? This idea that there's only one right way, and that's the only way that can be right, is very arrogant, right? Because there's how many there's what, 8 billion people on the planet? Okay, and you're telling me that all 8 billion of those people have to believe the same thing as one another, that if they don't believe this one certain way, and it's whatever, right? It could be Catholicism, it could be Christianity, it could be any religion out there, it could just be even like believing in nothing, it could be atheism, it could be anything, right? But it's like being surrounded by people who believe a certain way and they're saying that everybody else is wrong. That's just arrogance. And it's also ignorance, because it's not recognizing that we all have to find what's right for us. You know, faith and practices in life are dependent on the individual. It's not dependent on what's right or wrong. Because if it was all dependent on what was right or wrong, like, I don't know, I feel like there would be a lot more like evidence as to being a certain way, and there's not. And the reason being is because when you find something that grooves with you and grooves with your soul, like, you get all the evidence you need, knowing that this is the right place for me. So you see here, people are being greedy with the Six of Wands in the reverse. They're being greedy and they're misguided with the Ace of Swords here. And you're letting go of this negativity. I keep hearing that. All that negativity is going to eat you alive, man. Right? It's from, what, Fast Five, I think, the movie. But it's this energy of, like, finally recognizing, like, it's okay for me to be who I am. Because it's like, the thing is that people are going to feel uncomfortable. The more comfortable you feel being authentic to yourself, the more that those people who are saying you're wrong are going to get triggered, because they don't even feel comfortable in what they believe. You know what I'm saying? And I feel like the other thing here is that there's a lot of people here who are excessively in search of, like, material things, right? So it's like maybe the people who have been telling you your whole life you're wrong, you're wrong, you're wrong, you're not enough, or you're doing things crazy, or whatever it is, it's like they're so focused on the materialistic world that it just drives you away, right? And I feel like you're a very natural being. Not that you don't do your makeup or your hair. Maybe you don't. Maybe you just like things to be natural. Like, you like to all natural healing. You like essential oils. You like dealing with herbs. You have an herb garden. Like, you do everything that's natural for the healing of your temple, for the healing of your body and your soul. It's like, and it's like all these people who are telling you you're wrong. It's like you're seeing how unhappy they are. And I feel like that's the transformation for you. You're recognizing that, like, you get to say, we don't get to talk about that. And especially you, like, you don't get to talk about this with me. No matter how much you feel like you have a right to talk about this with me, I'm saying no. Because ultimately, I'm the one that makes that decision. And so you're choosing to overcome the negative thoughts. And you're choosing to overcome the negativity that's being projected on you here. And you're choosing to let that be their problem, because ultimately it is, right? It's not your problem. That's their problem. But I do feel like this was something that definitely left you injured and hurt. And, you know, because it was probably by somebody that you really cared for, really loved. Let's get some clarifiers out here for you, pile 2. Let me clarify the Six of Wands in the reverse, source. Look, we got the Ace of Swords in the reverse again. Look at that. Oh my gosh. Already, just, yeah, this is someone who hurt you based on their misconceptions of who you are, right? So I'm just going to use this as an example because I'm trying to explain something, and the best way is through the example that they're showing me here. It's like, okay, Christianity, okay? Regardless if you believe or not, because I've met witches and warlocks who believe in religion and still practice spells, okay? So it doesn't matter, but it's like if you are a Christian and you practice spell work, it's like you can't really go and tell other Christians that you practice spell work, because they're going to say, oh, you're a product of the devil. Like, you don't belong here on earth. Like, we have to save you. You have to come, and Jesus Christ is your savior, and so on and so forth. And you're like, but I believe all that. And they're like, you can't do both. And you're like, why not? How is that different from manifestation? You know, when we think about spells, why do we have spelling tests? Why do we learn how to spell words? Spells have been around since the beginning of time. And even it's like, if you look at the beginning of the Bible in Genesis, God spoke and said, let there be light. Is that not a spell? Ultimately, like, let's just stop and debunk that for just a second, right? And that's what I'm saying. Like, that's what it feels like. It's like people, it's like, if you're bringing that logic to them and you're telling them, like, I don't understand how you have a right to judge me, but I can't judge you, or whatever it is, right? Like, putting these very, oh, it's you're the problem, you're the problem, you're the problem. You're the one that needs to get your stuff together. You're the one that's doing things wrong, and you're seeing how miserable they are, and it's like, well, at least I'm happy. I'd rather be happy and wrong. Like, I'd bet an eternity on being happy and wrong just for the sake of not having to live in misery like you've been living in for so long. That's what this feels like, right? So again, it's just an example I was trying to use so that we can understand, like, the type of energy that's here, this misguided arrogance that's coming in. This is a very arrogant energy, and this is someone who takes action based on that arrogance, right? They've never studied what you do. They've never researched it. They go based on everything that's hearsay. And everything that's hearsay that they're hearing is based on judgments from lack of knowledge and lack of wisdom in whatever it is that you choose to practice or how you choose to practice. Will you please clarify the Ace of Swords in reverse, Source? What would you like to say? Yeah. And that's what I'm saying. I feel like you're connecting with some people here, whether that's online or in life. Like, I kept feeling at the beginning like you have a coven. And that's why this Three of Coins is coming out, to clarify that it's like finding others that are on a similar path as you, where you can build something together. Maybe there's 3 of you, maybe there's more, but it's just saying here, it's like, if you haven't found that yet, like, that's something that you can absolutely put out there and it will come back to you. It's just connecting with people who are doing similar things as you, maybe that you can learn from. You know, maybe that you can just have a part of something with other people and not feel so judged for being who you are. So I'm saying the illusion all along has been feeling uncomfortable as you are. That's been the illusion all along. But this is something that you're absolutely in a position to overcome. Can we please clarify the 5 of Swords, Source? What would you like to say to pile number 2? The Secret Witches and Warlocks, the Fool card coming out. Yep, this is a new beginning for you. Okay, so I have a card falling out of the deck. I'll look at it in just a second. It flipped over face down, so I don't know what it is. So I'll put it up here. This is a new beginning for you. Letting go of all that negativity. It's like people who don't understand you, they're not meant to be a part of your circle, right? If they don't understand you and they're using that misunderstanding as a reason to try to bring you down, and it always gets me. It always gets me, the hyper-religious people who are so judgmental and who are so rude and cruel and ruthless. And it's like, yeah, if we go back and we reference some things from most religions, right? Like, judge not lest thee be judged, or, you know, show man kindness, or whatever it is. There's always these statements, and you're over here like, okay, religious Karen. You know, like, I'm not trying to be like that, but it is like that sometimes. Like, it's just so crazy sometimes how they're like, if you don't believe what I believe, you're going to hell. And it's like, it's okay that you believe that, but that doesn't mean that you have to put me down in the process just because you believe that, right? But that's not how they see it. And they feel like it's their duty to make sure that they get everybody and their mom to believe. And okay, pile 2. This is so weird. I wasn't going to mention this, but Source is poking at me. I had this thought the other day that came in, and I was like, do Christians do that? Right? And this is for no one to answer. This is just a thought that came in that Source brought to me, and Source wants me to mention it to you because this is something to ponder. Right? As just we move through life, whether you're a Christian or not, it's just something to ponder. It's like, do you go and spread the word of God simply so you get into heaven, or is it so that others will get into heaven? Is it so you're in good graces with God, or is it so that others are in good graces with God? Like, what is the purpose of forcing a religion on someone? What is the purpose of that? That's not love. That's not compassion. That's not kindness in any one way, shape, or form. So what is the premise of that? What is the premise behind being so cruel and ruthless to people who choose, who don't believe the same way that you do? Like, what is the premise of that? And so it's something that Source brought to me, and it's interesting that Source wants me to bring that up to you now. I just feel like sometimes, pile number 2, you need someone to logically tell you certain things to where you're like, oh my gosh, that makes me feel better, so I don't feel so bad. And sometimes it's hard because I feel like you think this way a lot too, but you feel alone in thinking that way. And so you feel like maybe I'm just crazy, or maybe it just doesn't make sense the way I think it makes sense. And it's like, I feel like it's like why Source is trying to get me to say these things here. So, but this is going to be a new beginning for you, is letting go of these people, right? Like, there's a tribe out there that you're meant to be with. Yeah, this is all a new beginning for you with the Ace of Wands on the bottom of the deck. Like, this is something that's very passionate for you. We talked about that passion from Scorpio energy, right? That passion is something that's very driven for you. So it's like connecting with other people who practice the same way that you do is going to be so beneficial to you, or finding that coven, or finding that tribe, you know, or that tribe coming in. However it is, it's like that's something that's going to be super beneficial to you moving forward. Look, we got the 10 of Cups in the upright again. So you're not seeing right now exactly how grounded you are in your emotional well-being. It's just the more you become comfortable in your skin, the less these people and what they have to say is going to phase you. Yeah. So again, a new beginning, right? This is like inspiration for you. When you choose to take the leap and choose to choose yourself, right? How many times can we say choose in a sentence? But when you really do decide to let go of this negative thought process and the negativity that others are trying to force onto you, maybe spend some time with yourself and say, like, is that mine, or is this other people's energy? I feel like you're going to recognize that it's other people's projections onto you. You're going to feel this draw to this new beginning. You could be a very brand new witch or warlock. Like, this could be a very new process to you, and you're still kind of nervous taking that leap. Maybe you're walking away from faith because you're being called, not faith, but religion. Maybe you're walking away from religion, being called to try other things because it's feeling more comfortable for you, but it feels uncomfortable for you to be yourself. And so it does feel very new here. Okay, this feels very new. This transformation is bringing in this very new energy to you. Let's see what else comes through for you here, Source. What else would you like to tell pile number 2? Yeah, Mercury. I love this. This clarifies what I was feeling with the 3 of Coins. Think, learn, network, and communicate, right? So you would benefit from having people that you can communicate, talk about your worries, talk about your concerns, talk about your successes with, and not be judged, right? You deserve that, pile 2. Like, that's something that you're meant to have in this life. What else, Source? What else would you like to tell pile number 2? Thank you. Okay, on the bottom, like, yeah, Pisces energy coming in. Intimacy, intuition, and compassion. So you could very well be a Pisces or have Pisces highly aspect in your chart. Take it as it resonates, but yeah, it's just woo. Also, you could have 8th house in Pisces. That was coming through really strongly right now. Okay, thank you. What else would you like to tell pile number 2, Source? Okay, wow, you're gonna get these 2. We've got Turkey Spirit, give with gratitude and grace, and Dolphin, this and that are true. So you trusting in the process, that this is all for your highest good, and trusting that you are a good soul. Like, I feel like that's a thing. Like, sometimes you question, like, am I a bad person? Am I a bad soul? Like, am I meant to just suffer and go to HE double hockey stick? Like, what is my purpose? But it's like, your purpose is what you deem it to be, not what everyone else tells you it is, right? Yeah, see the bigger picture. You know, in being a psychic medium and connecting with spirits, it's kind of like we've all got it wrong, but we've all got it kind of right too. So, you know, it's just what resonates with us is something that matters deeply to you. The reason it resonates with you is because that's what feels like home, and that's okay. You're meant to help other people who feel that same way about it. And that's why it's, you know, when I always laugh, because it's like I grew up in a very hyper religious home. And then later, my mom, she became very spiritual later on in life because she learned that she had the ability of psychic mediumship. And, you know, I didn't even learn about my own gift until after she had passed away. And she's the one who's been guiding me on everything. And so it's just interesting to see these experiences coming through. And it's like realizing like it's not about what everyone else says it has to be. It's just about finding what's right. And that's, I feel, the most important thing for you, pile 2. We have Earth and Fire Dragon. Works with you to clear 5th dimensional ley lines. It's time for service. When you give, you receive. Give with gratitude and grace. You're meant to share your knowledge. Like, you've come a long way. I feel like some of you may be new, but also some of you may be very experienced witches and warlocks here, and so you're meant to share that with others. Yeah, exploration, creation, experimentation, universe, underground, feeling very much part of the underground society, right? But yeah, you're meant to give with this grace, and I feel like you're going to help others come into a place of acceptance as well. The more you accept yourself and let go of that blame and shame for you being the way you are. You can't change who you are. There's no reason to change who you are. You're perfect exactly as you are. That's why you were created that way. Father. Okay. This could be the father moon coming out. So we have production, hunting, protection, and teaching. This also could be the pile where there's the most warlocks on, which is awesome. But I'm just saying, like, this is that energy where it's like you could be fighting the father wound, like being highly judged by a father figure in your life. Or again, with the father archetype of God, and feeling so smothered by that, and feeling so smothered by maybe a father at church, right? Like the padre and the, what is that, Catholicism, I think they have fathers. Yeah. So this is giving me that energy. It's like you've had authority figures in your life that have judged you for being more of a free spirit and not blending in with the congregation, right? It doesn't make anybody right or wrong. There is no right or wrong. There's only what's right or wrong for you. Yeah, flirt, seduce, lover, and lust. Okay, so yeah, this is something... Okay, there's a really weird energy coming through here. It's like maybe you've been accused of being a succubus, and that is so crazy to me. Oh my goodness. I feel like maybe sometimes like that has been so heavy on your heart. Like, am I really? Maybe I'm just like the incarnate for this terrible soul work. And it's no, not at all. I feel like this is a very specific message that's coming through here for pile number 2. This is going to resonate with everyone, but it has to be said because I feel like somebody here has been accused by someone of being, like I said, like part of the devil, or you belong to the devil, or you're a succubus, or all you do is seduce people and you get your way. Like you're not doing things in a very healthy way, or whatever it is. Or maybe everybody's heard something like that. I feel like this is just that reminder, like, what those people tried to label you as is their own projection of fear that's coming from deep within. But that doesn't have to be your fear. That's why I feel like Source is reminding you that it's okay for you to find some time by yourself and really recognize, is this how I feel? Yeah, I saw this really interesting thing today, and it said, if everybody at school has these brand new tennis shoes, and I'm around that all day, I want brand new tennis shoes too. But if I go on a hike and I'm away from everybody and it's just me, I'm not even thinking about the shoes, right? And so that's that energy. It's like, get by yourself. Don't be afraid to get by yourself. Look, yin energy, intuition, trust, patience, spirituality, and receptivity. Yeah, you're on a different journey than what everyone else is. Like, look, you have the father sun and the mother moon, okay? And so I feel like that's the thing. It's like everybody's so used to this father archetype, but we've forgotten about the healing properties of the mother archetype. And you could be embracing that, you know? The maiden, what is it? the maiden, the mother, the crone energies, like that might be something that you work heavily with. And that's why people have been judging you. It's like, oh, it's goddess energy, not just God energy, you know? And it's like, I feel like you being you is what's bringing this really receptive energy into earth. And there's a reason for that. Okay. Yeah. Co-create with spirit. Yeah. This is all planned. This is all part of your journey. Like Source is saying, like, I created you this way so you could bring this very healing energy back to earth. Like fire dragon burns up the lower energies around you. You are safe and protected. Be determined and inspired with that. Where was it? The Page of Wands. Where did we get that? I don't even remember. I don't even remember where it was. Page of Wands is somewhere here. It's somewhere around the journey here. Anyways. Anyways, where the Page of Wands when it came out, right? Clear your soul pathway. So this is you being determined, being inspired about you being you. And know that all these issues from the past are going to burn away. Peace. Yeah, coming into a place of peace, harmony, order, calmness, and serenity. Right? Be at peace with who you are. Because you're bringing in a ton of abundance, wealth, good luck, and blessings. You know what? People are going to say all kinds of weird things when you begin to manifest everything that you've ever wanted. They're all going to try and make up all kinds of excuses as to why that is. None of them are actually going to see the truth that it's because you did the work. You did the inner work and you trusted in the process. You had faith that Source was going to come through for you. Right? So, you know, let them think whatever they want because they're still over there struggling with their old outdated ways. Let them struggle with that. They'll figure it out or they won't. But ultimately, that's not our problem. Waxing and waning, like the yin energy, the godmother moon. I love this. Oh my gosh, it's such a synchronicity right there. Yeah. So it's just going with the tides as well. I feel like sometimes we're waxing, sometimes we're waning. So I do feel like you have these periods where you're very comfortable with who you are, but then there's periods where you're very uncomfortable in your skin. And they're saying like, it's okay. It's okay. It's just a part of the process, but don't let others convince you that you need to be one way or another. It says, consider from the new moon to the full moon, we can gaze upon the waxing crescent. From the full moon to the new moon, we see the waning crescent. When we work with the ebb and flow of the lunar tides, we can amplify the work we do. Tap into the lunar rhythm of ebb and flow, collect and disperse, increase and decrease. With the power of the lunar tides, what will you build and create, and what will you release and let go of? This is all about becoming, turning, and vanishing. Learn how to flow with the lunar tides. Work with the waxing moon when you need to build or increase, and with the waning moon when you're looking to decrease or diminish. If it's something that needs to be done right away and the moon doesn't seem to be moving in your favor, consider how to shift your focus. For example, when the moon is waning, instead of designing a healing spell to draw on good health, could you work to decrease the barriers or factors that are impeding good health? Yeah, so shifting how you see this, right? We saw that here with the Hangman. It's shifting how you see yourself. Oh, there we go. Okay, shifting how you see yourself, how you perceive yourself, and knowing that it's okay. Like, it's all a part of the process. There's no right or wrong way in life. There's only what's right or wrong for you. Okay. So this is what I see here for you, pile number 2. If you felt like this was your reading, leave the little moon emoji. I'll let you pick which one. Leave the little moon emoji down below and say, I choose to heal myself by allowing and flowing through life, knowing that there is no right or wrong, that there's only right or wrong for me. And that leads me to my prosperity. Okay, and if it resonated with you, it means so much to me if you're to like, comment, and subscribe below. If you are interested in supporting the channel further, you'll find everything you need in the description box in order to reach me for a personal reading, as well as how to join as a member of the channel. And with that, I do want to take a quick second to thank your guides, your spirit messengers, your angel source, and my spirit guides, all for coming together to give us this very powerful message. And until next time, pile number 2, stay human. Bye. Hello, my fellow human. If you were drawn to this dice, I can get it to focus, this dice, or if you were drawn to this beautiful piece of crystal quartz, there's a really loud truck coming in, I apologize. Or if you were drawn to this card during the shuffle, this is going to be your message for the secret witches and warlocks. I do want to say thank you to anyone and everyone that continues to be a supportive part of this journey. Truly honored to be sharing this time in this space with you. And for anybody that is new here, welcome. This is that reminder that we're all here sharing this human experience together, and that this is a safe space to show up as your highest, most aligned, loving, authentic self. Should these messages happen to resonate with you, it would mean so much to me if you were to like, comment, and subscribe down below. And with that being said, let's go ahead and hop to it and find out what is the message for the secret witches and warlocks of pile number 3, Source. What would you like to share with them today? What is the message for the secret witches and warlocks of pile number 3? What would you like to bring forth today, Source? Thank you. Okay, so we've got Cancer, Mars, and the 3rd house. Interesting. Oh, okay, so this is an interesting energy. You know, and usually 3rd house does talk about twin flames for me. I just need to mention that for someone here. But I'm not going to focus on that today. I actually got a really strong message when I saw these that you knew who you were since you were a child. So this is that energy where it's like maybe you always knew that you wanted to be a witch or a warlock. Like you always knew that was something that you were interested in. And so when you were able to, you would get books on it, you would study it, you would get into it, and you would really like nurture that seed that was planted at an early age, right? Maybe you grew up in a home full of witches and warlocks, which is so awesome for those of you that resonates with. Not everybody is that lucky or has that nurturing experience, right? But I do feel like you were nurtured. Like I feel like maybe you grew up in a home that was pretty accepting, and they saw that you were very passionate, very driven towards this, and they helped you a lot with that. And if that doesn't resonate, then it's just like maybe you had one person in your life who really helped you with that, or really helped you, give you insight on that, and was very open about it, and it helped you really come to ease with you always wanting to do this, or you always wanting to be a witch or a warlock, right? Practicing spells, seeing what you could do, seeing what magic you could bring into your life, trusting in the magic, never stopping believing in the magic. I feel like for you, it's like magic has always been a part of your life, and that's something that like you really delve into and you really enjoy, and it's almost like this feeling of being so blessed that you've always been able to see through eyes of magic. And it's actually really exciting. Pile 3, this is a really exciting energy. But I feel like there's this energy where it's like maybe people have been in competitions with you, or they have been very aggressive towards you, or they have also tried to get you connected into codependent situations. And it's not to say that you haven't had codependent situations in your life, but I do feel like you've nurtured yourself so much, especially in recent times. Like you're aware of people who want to tie you down, and you're aware of people who aren't healthy for you, and you're aware of these individuals who are creating drama or who are creating hardships in your life for no reason, right? Just for the sake of having you in their lives. So maybe a very beautiful person, and if you don't feel like that, then you have a very beautiful energy. And remember, it's not about how we look, it's about the energy that we exude. And so I feel like for you, you absolutely have a very powerful, beautiful energy. Okay. All right. This feels very straightforward, this reading. Like it doesn't feel like you, and you could have watched the other 2 readings. And I'm just going to mention real quickly, if you spent all 3 readings with me, leave a purple heart down below. That's the Purple Heart Society, or the Purple Heart Club. And you could say I made it. And that's for those of you that spend the whole reading with me. I truly appreciate you if you did, okay? Yeah, look at this. You always knew that you were gonna tear down some people's belief systems, or you were gonna cause trouble just by being you, but it's like you're really very, very, very grounded in who you are, and you've created a life based on your belief and based on your practices, and it's served you well. It's like it's always been a part of your blood. It's always been a part of who you are. Let's see what else comes out. And, you know, understanding, I'm sure people are asking, well, if that's the case, why did you keep it secret? But, you know, society is why we keep things like this secret. And it's not like you need to go out blasting off to everybody who you are anyways. Right? Not everybody needs to know our business. I like the way you do business. You ever seen that movie, Four Brothers? I don't know why that's coming in right now. Maybe that resonates with someone here. Source, what is the message to the secret witches and warlocks of pile number 3? Okay, thank you. Yeah, you're very, very comfortable in your unique skin. Like, you have come a long way on the journey. Maybe you didn't always feel that way, but you do feel like you're very comfortable being who you are. Like, you've let go of the triggers and you haven't let them affect you anymore. Like, you've come into a place where you're just comfortable. Like, this is just who I am, and I'm tired of trying to change myself to fit everybody else's idea of who I need to be, because that's what's really uncomfortable. Right? Good for you, pile number 3. That is so awesome. What an awesome way to start this reading. How many times can we say awesome? That's really what it feels like. On the bottom of the deck, yeah, we've got the 2 of coins in the reverse. Okay, so there's been a lot of twists and turns in your life. A lot of ups and downs. Maybe there's been times when you said, no, that's not who I am. Yes, that's who I am. No, that's not who I am. Like, a lot of back and forth is what I'm getting from this. But finally settling on, this is just me. This is me. That's it. It's me. If you like me, you like me. If you don't, you don't. It's no skin off my back. Like, I feel like you're just a very nonchalant, blasé, chill kind of person. Like, nothing really affects you too much, and nothing really bothers you too much, even though people may have tried to bother you or really create, you know, chaos in your life. Yeah. But, you know, you could have come from a situation that wasn't supportive of you. For some of you, I do feel like others of you are very supported. So there's 2 energies coming through very clearly, but no matter what your starting point was, like, you've come to this place of just, through all of life's ups and downs, you've become incredibly comfortable with being who you are. And now it's like when people really try to hit below the belt, if you will, like, you're just like, cool. I'm protected. I got my gear on, right? I got a cup on, right? Go ahead. Yeah. We got the Knight of Swords in the upright. Ooh, the 7 of Swords in the upright. Yes! Oh, I love this energy already. You're very nurturing. I feel like you'll help anybody, right? Like, it doesn't matter. Like, you're not out here, are you a witch and a warlock, so I can help you too? You know? You know, you're like, you do anything. Like, I feel like you're the person that prays for people, or that sends good luck spells to people who you might see who are suffering. Like, I feel like you don't do it just for you. That's what it really feels like, pile number 3. Like, you're someone who, you naturally are just a giver. And you give. So it's like, this is what I do. So I'm just, you know, maybe on the side of the road, you see people who are broke down on the side of the road, and you say a quick prayer, you say a quick spell, and you're like, you know, whatever it is, may they be off the road safely and soundly and get to safety as quickly as possible, and may everybody be paying attention to them, and as it is spoken, so shall it be. And you go on, and you're not thinking about it, and so it manifests quickly. And I feel like everybody that you've prayed for, everybody that you've done little spells like that for, they've all come true, because you're not thinking about it. You just put it out there, and then you move on with yourself and you move on with your day. And I think maybe there's been times when you wondered, like, has that actually come to fruition? Like, has that actually worked out? Like, has that actually been a thing? And this is Source saying, like, yeah, like every time you do that, it helps people whether you feel it or not. But I just feel like you're very comfortable with it. You're okay with it. You've overcome so much doubt, and you've persevered, and you've seen it work in your own life. That's what I'm saying. Like, you see it work for you, and you want to pass that on. But I feel like you don't pass it on in the way of like giving your knowledge to people. Even if you do, you might do that. I feel like more or less you pass it on. It's like, I'm gonna say this magic spell for someone, or I'm gonna say this abundance spell for someone, and I'm gonna burn a candle for them so that it comes true for them because they deserve that, right? Or a healing spell or something like that. Like, it's like that's who I am, so that's what I'm gonna give away, right? But you saved yourself from so many situations that could have brought you down. And I feel like you had times where maybe you did doubt and were very unsure of what it was that you wanted, or if this is the direction that you wanted to go in. And now, instead of just blasting out to everybody, maybe you never did that, right? But instead of blasting out to people, you keep it under wraps and you just do you. And being you is a very giving, loving, nurturing person. You could have Cancer highly aspect in your chart. 7th house Cancer, 3rd house Cancer. You could have 1st house Cancer, so your rising sign. You could have Cancer Pisces. Oh my gosh. Yeah, you could have Pisces in your chart as well. But you could have Cancer Moon. You could have Cancer in the 12th house, I think is what was trying to come through. Or Neptune. Neptune in the 12th house too? Okay. So there's a lot of Cancerian energy here. You could also have Aquarius energy highly aspect in your chart, or Gemini energy as well, and Capricorn. Okay, so take what resonates, but definitely Cancer energies. Those of you that resonate with the Cancer energy, this is like an extra confirmation for you. And if you don't worry about it. It's okay. Right? I feel like there's just someone here who's a Cancer who needs that validation, that, you know, I really just wanted to know if, like, what I'm doing, is it helping people? And I feel like this is sort of saying, like, yes, it's helping people. Like, you don't know how much it's helping people and how good you are at manifesting things, because you do it, like, you set it and forget it. Like, you know, that old commercial, set it and forget it. It's an old infomercial from way back in the day. Anyways, and that's what you do. You set it and you forget it, and it immediately comes to fruition because you're not burdened by whether or not it's going to happen. You just trust that Source is going to take care of it, and you leave it, and it comes through. And I feel like people are always like, man, I'm so glad that happened. I'm so glad that things went, you know, through easily. And it's like, you just always giving energy, and you're not ever expecting anything in return. Like, you don't do it so that you get your 3-fold or your 10-fold. That's not why you do it. You do it because you're naturally a giving and a loving person. And that's like the soul of who you are. And that makes you so beautiful and so brilliant. Like, you're very brilliant star on this earth, and very bright. So saying, like, I feel like ever since you were a child, like, you knew that this is who you were. And maybe it wasn't about being a witch or a warlock. Maybe it was like you always knew you were a giver, that's who you were, and you knew you wanted to heal the world by being able to give something back to the world. And then this is through your journey, you came into the practice of being a witch or a warlock, and that, like, opened up your world to other ways that you could give to people. And it was like, this is perfect for me because I don't have to go out of my way. I can just do it in the spot, and it helps, you know? All right, let's get some clarifiers here for you. Source, can you please clarify the Knight of Swords? Okay, thank you. Excuse me. Can you please clarify the 7 of Swords? You're definitely not stuck in your head about it, though. Like, even if you're wondering if it's working for people, like, you still did it. Even if you didn't know the answer was yes or no, like, you still did it. You were never like, oh my gosh, maybe I shouldn't do this. Like, maybe I shouldn't put forth the effort. Like, it was just like, nope, it feels right. It feels good, so I'm going to keep doing it. And so it's paid off in a lot of circumstances. I feel like some people may have had a really bad day until you came along and gave them some spell work or prayer unbeknownst to them, and suddenly their day got much better. And what a nice little gift to give. Just that's love. Like, that is love at its finest. Oh, yeah, I feel like at times you maybe repressed this part of yourself. Like, there was a part of you that thought like, oh, I can't be okay with this, right? Like, I can't overcome this. This is interesting. But then something shifted for you and something changed and you became more grounded in yourself. So for some, it was definitely a struggle. There was definitely a struggle here with who you are or what it was that you were meant to do. And I feel like this is, now that you're embracing it and embodying it, like, you're just, this is who I am, and that's okay. Isn't that interesting? We had the King of Coins come out on the bottom of the deck when we first started, right? And now we have it in the reverse, clarifying the Knight of Swords. It feels like someone really stepped on your toes here. This could be a father figure or a Capricorn that really stepped on your toes at some point in time, or really, like, made you feel like you didn't deserve to be you. And I feel like that's something of the past. Okay, so this could have been a lover, a relationship, who you thought was a soulmate. Like, they made you feel like you couldn't be your loving self. Like, this, it feels like someone who is stifling your natural giving, loving energy. I feel like that's why it's like you've always been okay with who you were, but there's something that happened along the way, right? With this Strength and the Hangman in the reverse. It's like where you felt like you couldn't be okay with you. So, like, an example here that they're showing me is like, if you're a hugger, right? I don't know if that's a thing anymore. People don't do that anymore. But, you know, it's like if you're a hugger and then suddenly you got together with someone and that someone was like, why are you hugging people? You're just cheating on me with those people. Or they're like accusing you of something along the way. It's like to save the relationship, maybe you stopped being a hugger, right? And it doesn't have to be that specific situation. It's just, that's the example they're showing me here. It's like somewhere along the way you stopped being that loving, caring, giving self that you've always been, and it was to save face for someone who was demeaning and domineering and very unforgiving here. Okay, very unforgiving and very controlling over the situation. Let's see what this says. Yeah, and it was hard for you to come to terms with this. This was really hard for you to face, this situation. If this was a love situation, again, we did have the twin flames. Now, what I've been shown with twin flames is they're not going to be narcissistic people. Narcissistic people are often catalysts on our journey to prepare us for our true twin flame if you really feel like you're a twin. Again, this is what I've been shown, okay? And this is what I've gone through and the process that I've gone through. And so the person that I thought was my twin flame was a narcissist at the beginning, until Source showed me who was my real twin flame. And I was so lost because I was like, oh my gosh, this person has never hurt me. Like, they've always wanted the best for me. They've always cheered me on. They were always my silent cheerleader too. Like, there were times when, like, we wouldn't see each other for a really long time and I was creating videos online. This is, again, the example of why a narcissist can't be our twin, right? So my twin was always, he would watch all of my videos, and then when he saw me again, he would always like say things from my video, and he's like, I'm like your biggest fan. And I was always so surprised by that. Like, really? But this is someone that I've loved since the first time I met them, and I just always assumed that this was just like my homie. Like, this is my homie, and I love my homie. Like, I don't want anything bad to happen to my homie, and that's how he felt about me. And I had such a connection with the narcissist, but it was a trauma bonding. And so the only reason they want me to bring that up here is because I feel like at one point, why did I say the twin flame in the beginning? Someone needs to hear this, is there was a trauma bond, and the trauma bond has made you convinced that this might be your twin flame, but they might actually be a catalyst to your real twin flame. And so there's a process of healing that you're going through. And there's a process of coming to terms with, this is not somebody you can have in this lifetime the way that you thought it was gonna be. And that's okay, because you're so much better off without having somebody trying to control you in your life. All right. And so with this, like, you're this naturally beautiful energy, and you don't deserve to be put through with someone in this journey, like, who's going to make you feel small, or who wants you to be small because they can't handle your shine. A true twin flame can handle your shine. What they can't handle is the fact that you trigger their deepest core wounds the same way they trigger your deepest core wounds. What initiates after that is a deep need for healing. That's what ends up with that runner. Well, it's really more like a push or pull dynamic. The runner chaser thing is when we don't want to face ourselves. Okay. And so what's happening here, it's like, I feel like if you're not getting a push or pull, and it's going more or less to this runner chaser dynamic, or you're chasing after someone who's not that interested in you, it's always about drawing back to self. Okay. Again, this is a very specific message, but I do feel like there was someone here in your life with the Six of Cups. The Six of Cups in the Tarot Marseille is the soulmate card. This is the ultimate love card in the deck. And with it to come out in the reverse, we're talking about the ultimate betrayal, right? Like, you gave everything of who you are to someone only to be hurt in the end. But look, with the Tower card, or the House of God next to that, and the King of Coins, we see this person's not in a healed state. We see they're in a position where they're not even focused on the love. They're only focused on the pain and the hurt that they've experienced from the past, and bringing that, with this coin here, bringing that into this relationship. That's the only thing they have to offer, is their hurt and their pain, and the projection of that hurt and pain, and thus creating this House of God in the reversal moment where we're like, I can't face this. I can't deal with this. I can't even come to terms with why this is something that I've had to go through. So pointing again at the ups and downs, a lot of ups and downs in your life, coming back to this Empress energy. It's taken you a long time to detach from the toxic masculine. And it doesn't matter if you're a woman, a man, or whatever you identify with. I feel like the toxic masculine was just playing such a heavy role in your life for you to come into this very feminine, very nurturing, loving energy here, right? The divine femme, and embodying that on a deep level. And that's where you've had this reversal where it's like, okay, I'm going to be strong in who I am, and I'm going to be okay with who I am, and not let the mindset get the best of me. And so we see here that you've come a long way with this very positive energy coming in at the beginning of the reading. This is just clarifying, like, all of this came from this really awful situation. Yeah. So let's see what else comes out for you, pile number 3. Source, what else would you like to share with pile number 3? The Secret Witches and Warlocks of pile number 3. That one and that one. Okay. Oh, yeah. You may have absolutely resonated with one of the other piles. This came out in one of the other piles as well. We've got Chiron, Hurt and Heal. This has been really, really, really difficult for you to face. Whatever this was, it was incredibly difficult for you to deal with because it hurt so much. And that is okay. It's okay. Not that it hurt. It's okay that it was hard to deal with. Right? And facing that part of ourselves and saying, like, I choose to heal this part of myself takes such bravery, pile 3. And you're doing that. And you're doing that by choosing you. Okay? And Chiron is the wounded healer, right? It's like you had to heal your own wounds in order to heal others. And is that a good or a bad thing? I think it just simply is a part of some of our process. Like, some of us are going to go through that in this lifetime. Does that mean everybody will? No, but there's a lot of people who will. And it doesn't make it right or wrong, worse or better. It just is. Then we have Act As If. Yeah. This is what I was saying. This is that confirmation what I was saying earlier. It's like you don't even think about it. It's like you say your little spell for people to give them goodness and love and grace and help and whatever it is, and you've already acted as if it's been done, and that's why it happens for people, because you don't even think about it. I feel like you also manifest things in your life that You're like, that would be really nice to have. You're like, okay. And you could see yourself with it, and then you let it go, and then all of a sudden it appears in your life, and you're like, wow, that happened really fast. I was just thinking about this. It's because you're really, really a phenomenal manifester. But I do feel like you had to let go of this very repressing energy that was in your life at some point in time. Yeah, pure white dragon from Orion transforms your ascension knowledge into pure wisdom. Process what you know. Act with truth and honesty. Let your wings of light grow and expand. That's what I'm saying. Someone here could not handle your shine. They could not. You were so bright that they did their best to throw a towel over you, to throw a blanket over you, to snuff out the flame. Whatever it was, they did their best to do that. And now you're definitely healing from whatever that is and beginning to shine freely again. It's like the weight is coming off of your shoulders. What else would you like to tell pile number 3 source? Okay, that's okay. Okay. No, okay. What else would you like to tell pile number 3 source? Thank you. What else would you like to tell pile number 3 source? What else would you like to tell pile number 3? Okay, thank you. Wow, on the bottom we've got betrayal, breakup, divorce, infidelity. I say like the ultimate betrayal here. Like there's something here, and then we have this confirmation. Definite dealing with heartbreak here. And feeling like maybe that was my twin. Like maybe they're the ones that hurt me. Like if they were the ones that hurt me, I don't want anything to do with them. But I feel like they were a catalyst to your awakening, not your true twin. Okay? That's really what it feels like here for me. And that's not going to resonate with everyone, and that's okay. Remember to always listen to your intuition. Regardless of what a reader says, it is so important for you to listen to your intuition because these are general readings, okay? Look, South Node, destined to release. Like, this energy is very clear on this reading. You were destined to release this energy. It was not meant to be around you. You were destined to come back into this alignment with your true self. Gemini energy, curiosity, intellect, and networking. The reason being is because you're meant to affect many, many people in your life. Like, you're meant to help a lot of people in your life as well. But for whatever reason, with this person in your energy, like, you were not able to help them. Sometimes life stings. Wow. This is very telling. This is a very difficult situation. That's why I feel like Source came in with this very positive energy first, because I feel like if it was negative off the bat, you might have left. You didn't want to hear it, didn't want to deal with that. Like, I don't want to do that. But it's like Source is trying to show you, like, you've come so far. Like, we need to recognize how far you've come. Now is a lucky time. Yeah, like, you're growing. You have a lot of good things happening for you right now. Pour into that. We have the Emerald Dragon, brings in healing and cosmic abundance. Yes, good fortune is coming. Let your thoughts support your divine perfection. Align with your 5th dimensional blueprint. Abundance. Now is a lucky time. Like, there's a lot of good things that are coming in for you, pile number 3. Delivery, transportation, inheritance, and escort. So you could be receiving an inheritance. That's a very specific message for someone out there. But also, I just feel like you're moving on. This is just such a good indication that you're moving on. The lesson was delivered to you fully, and now you get to move on from this. And I feel like your guides are escorting you to the next phase. You could be a Pisces with the koi coming out here. Look at this. Perseverance, good fortune, yin and yang, and ambition with the 7 of Swords energy, right? That same type of energy. Now is a lucky time. Good fortune is coming. Okay, so there's a lot of good things that are about to happen for you. But look, it's like when we think about the Pisces, right? You have one fish that goes and experiences these very, very high highs, and one fish that experiences these crazy lows, right? Like, and if you're Pisces, you're going to understand what I'm saying here. And if not, it's just understanding that it's like a Pisces can go through so many emotions in a day. And I'm not saying that any other sign doesn't, but it's just like being the fish. that is truly our element, right? We're 100% in the water all the time. Not like the crab, the Cancer, not like the Scorpio, the Scorpion, that they're both land dwellers and water dwellers, right? But we have this energy being a fish and always being in the water. It's just, that's our element. And so we experience the high is the cap of emotions, right? Where we're barely touching the air. And then the low is the bottom of the ocean, where all that pressure is on you and all that darkness and hurt and pain. It's just weighing you down. And so I think the only other sign that might understand that is Gemini, because they also have the twins, and that's the dualistic nature of being a sign with two representations of your sign. But every other sign in the zodiac has one being or one animal that represents it. And so it's like that one animal, it shows both the good and the dark side of that animal. There's like with Gemini and Pisces, there's these two elements that go with it that really represent duality. And isn't that funny? We got Gemini and this represents Pisces. I didn't even realize that. Like, I was looking off over at the window and talking about it. We have countryside with our aquaculture, irrigation, harvesting, and renting. Yeah, so whatever it was that was living in your mind rent-free, that's now leaving, and you're now harvesting, reaping what you've sown, right? Like, it's your season for harvest. Health, exercise, diet, sleep, mental relaxation. Yeah, this is all about you coming into a time and period where you're taking care of you, because you matter so much, pile 3. Oh, this is like Source saying, like, I need you in this realm so bad, and I need you to be okay with taking care of yourself 100% so that you can continue to give that beautiful energy to others, because it's so needed. So we're going to take a look at your Embodying Witch Oracle card and see what you've got. Play. The rabbit and a wolf here. Look at this, the house that's running around. Look at that. All right. So let's see what play says. It's time to bring fun and play. So you could be healing the sacral chakra as well, right? So with play and pleasure and all the emotions we've been talking about, this definitely mirrors sacral chakra healing. So when you're healing the sacral chakra, it's so important to bring that essence of play and fun back into your life, right? This is my right to play. This is my right to feel. This is my right to experience the good things in life. So it says life can't be all about work. We need to let our imagination run free and shake out our limbs from time to time. Move, jump, dance, and flail about. Play isn't just for the body either. It's for the mind as well, right? With health energy as well. Allow for some fantasy, suspend disbelief on occasion, and let yourself fly. Go ahead and engage in a little make-believe. When we allow ourselves to play, our mind relaxes and our view shifts, allowing for greater problem-solving capabilities. Worry less about what others think and resolve to play more. Dance like no one is watching. Be ridiculous, full of wonder. Make some myths and memories now. Imagination, spirited, mischief, and reveal. And it says play can take the form of relaxing at the beach, hiking in the woods, and role-playing with friends. Or it might mean making a game out of tasks you've been avoiding. Shifting your perspective changes the scenery and opens doors you didn't even know existed. I love that. Yeah, so you're absolutely healing from something that was really difficult for you to go through. And I feel like it's just so important for you to remember, like, you're making a big difference, not only in your own life, but in others as well. Okay? And you are so needed, pile number 3. And here's a big, big, big energetic hug. You are loved and supported and held, okay? So this is what I see here for you. If you feel like this is your reading, leave a little rabbit emoji down below. Say, it is through play and pleasure that I allow myself to experience the joys and the freedom of my imagination and what life has for me. And if it resonated, it would mean so much to me if you were to like, comment, and subscribe down below. If you are interested in supporting the channel further, you'll find everything you need in the description box, including how to reach me for a personal reading, as well as how to join as a member here on the channel. And with that being said, pile number 3, I do want to take a quick second and thank your guides, your spirit messengers, your angel source, and my spirit guides for coming together to give us this very powerful message. And until next time, stay human. Bye.